It's Ashlyn here. I don't look the greatest. I'm currently not feeling very well, but I want to try and get back into recording and stuff. So we're just gonna do this from my couch. So this reaction video. Sorry, it's been a while. Bad angle too. Sorry, but this reaction video is from I Should Read That, and this is the best books of 2021. So we're gonna see if we agree or disagree, and what books we've read and what books we haven't read. Um, I currently am finishing up the second book in the trilogy of Fool Me Once series by Tara Civic. It's a shame on me. I have like 20 or 30 pages left. It's a very short, quick read. It's 146 pages. Um, Really quick, I'm also working on Bridget Jones's Diary. I am in March actually, which is ironic to me, which is on page 57. So I'm not that close into being done with this at all. I literally have only read this much, and I still have all this to go. I have an entire what, 9 months to go. An entire pregnancy, basically. And then I am also reading Confess by Colleen Hoover. I did a sample of it, and I made it to chapter 3, and it's on page 50. These are some pretty long chapters, but it's a Colleen Hoover book, and you already know, like, with Colleen Hoover books, you cannot put them down. Just, it's very common not to be able to put them down. And one thing I love about this book here is it gives you the pictures, the art that it talks about from the Owen Mason Gentry Confess art gallery. So I thought that was really cool. Like I said, I'm on page 50 on chapter 3. I still have a ways to go on this one too. I've read that much. I still have all this, and this white right here is all the art that you actually get to see. And the cool thing about Confess, I found out, is the confessions that are in this book are real confessions from real people, just anonymously. And the idea to take someone's confession and turn it into a work of art is absolutely unbelievable to me. I love it so far. Auburn and Owen just have this really strange relationship, and it just helps out that Owen literally just lost his girlfriend last week and he runs into Auburn. But funny thing is, Owen knows Auburn. I'm still trying to figure that one out as to how. So I have a feeling this isn't just going to be a romance, but it's going to be like a thriller romance. I'm thinking maybe secret love obsession, stalker situation, obsessive, something like that. But I have a feeling it's going to end on a good note, just because my library recommends it as a romance. So I'm really excited for those. Those are the 3 books I'm currently working on, along with Life as We Know It, which is a bunch of different essays from random people about life, love, loss, all of that, anything that has to do with, life in general. So that's 4 books that I'm working on currently. Um, I'm really happy that I'm working on Confess and Bridget Jones's Diary, because those are my backlist TBRs. But enough of me babbling on and whatnot. Let's get into this. Um, I did just purchase. They had a special going on for They had a special going on for Disney Plus. So I did get my family and I Disney Plus. However, what I also did for an early Easter gift for the family, is I got them this really cool poster. Like, it's like a giant lottery ticket, but you don't win anything except for like time spent as a family. And I got the Disney Plus, and I'm sharing it with them because it was like an add-on for $2.99 to my Hulu. So, but there's also a poster to go with it, which I think they're really gonna enjoy, especially the little ones. They get to scratch off the spots. But I'm gonna stop babbling now, and we're gonna get into this. I know I'm not in Texas. A very special person in my life got this for me.
Something delicious that costs only
Let's see.
$1.99 to try.
Every plate.
I'm all stuffed up, I apologize. Alright, let's get into this.
Hey guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and today I am bringing you
Hi,
my
Justine.
best books of 2021.
Oh boy. She's pretty cool to watch. Check her out.
I know that 2021 wasn't like a stellar reading year for a lot of people, and I feel like, with the exception of these guys, obviously, there weren't a ton of standout books for me either. However, the books that I did
Give it a second to catch up. I don't know what's going on here. Okay.
read and loved, I really, really love. There are a couple of new favorites in here, and I am so thrilled to be sharing these with you. Now, I've started doing a top 10 for my best of lists, and I tried to narrow it down to 10, but I actually only managed to get it down to 12. So I'm going to be showing you my top 12 books of last year.
Okay.
Also, this year I've decided to not go with a top
Okay, my connection's a little spotty, so I apologize in advance.
3, which is what I usually do. I usually have sort of no particular order until we hit the top 3, and then I'll do like my favorite book of the year and everything like that. And I'm not doing that this year because I feel like there's so many contenders for my favorite book that are all quite different that I honestly just can't decide what's going to be my top book. So these are all just in no particular order. They're all books that I really loved. We have fantasy, we have horror, we've got YA, we've got adult. There's a lot of really good stuff in here, so I hope you guys enjoy. First up is one of the books that I read in December. Of course, this is The Bone Ship's Wake by R.J. Barker. Over the past couple of years, the other books in this series have taken the top spot for my favorite book of the year, and this is definitely one of the contenders for one of the best books that I read in 2021. This is the concluding book in the Tied Child series, in which we follow the crew of a black ship, which is...
Okay, yeah, I'm not really all that interested in that. Oops, forgot I was connected. Yeah, I'm not all that interested in that one, so we'll let her talk that one through. By the way, does anybody know where this fandom's from? Kaz and Inej? I cannot remember. I believe it's Mortal Instruments or Six of Crows, but I'm not sure. Know where Kaz and Inej are from? Let me know. And it's kind of like falling apart, but it's kind of cool at the same time because it's like right there and it's on here. Like, I really don't know how that happened. Look at that. Also, tonight I'm going to be attending, as long as my nose gets better and everything, I am going to be attending what they call a murder mystery dinner at the library. I'm really excited for that, so wish me luck on that. However, I will not be able to vlog it because I don't have a vlogging camera, guys. And she's still talking about this book. I don't know. I'm not necessarily one for pirate books. And that's what that, feeds off to me is pirates because of ships and things like that. So, it's not really my cup of tea. Wow, she talks about that book a while, doesn't she?
The book that I recently spoke about because I did finish it in December, and another concluding book to one of my favorite trilogies. We have The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. This is the last book in the Age of Madness trilogy, which is phenomenal. So if you're...
Okay, so her and I really have, for 2021, looks like we have a very big difference in what we enjoy and what we don't enjoy, and that just gives me like a knockoff version of Harry Potter and maybe the Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe series. I'm not sure though, but it doesn't speak to me. Joe Abercrombie, though, is a pretty decent author. I'm gonna take these off. I can see up close just fine. And I don't think my brain's going yet. Okay. I feel like everything's draining. I have until 5 to decide. I know at 2-ish, I think I'm gonna go to the academy and get my hair cut today. I do need to get that taken care of, but I also need to go to the store and get some crackers and stuff. And then I think I'm gonna stop at Starbucks and help myself to some more rewards. I want to get another cup, and I'm hoping in April they have like a really cute Easter Starbucks cup. I have 3 cups right now from Starbucks. I have a red one with hearts for Valentine's Day. I have like a blue to purple, like aqua blue to purple. Okay, this one I actually know.
Phenomenal start to a new fantasy series, and I just absolutely loved it. In this book, we follow a character named Garcia, who is a girl who has plant magic. She can make plants grow from seed to like their full height in just seconds. She can make flowers bloom at just a touch, and plants react to her wherever she goes.
This is on my TBR.
So her parents run a flower shop in Brooklyn, and she's very happy there until one day she gets a letter saying that she has received a great inheritance from her aunt who has passed away. So she and her mums basically go to this village in upstate New York to this mysterious old house that now belongs to her, and she finds out that she has also inherited a generation of secrets. This book has everything. It has plant magic, it has wholesome families, it has sapphic relationships, and it's just...
What the hell is sapphic, guys? If you know, let me know down in the comment section below, because I have no idea what sapphic is. I'm still trying to figure this out. I have no clue. Sapphic. Sapphic.
The fact that it's quite wholesome. I loved her. I loved her relationship with her parents. I love the fact that she and her mums can speak about anything, and she trusts them and they trust her, and they just have this really, really wonderful, close-knit relationship, which maybe I'm reading the wrong YA books, but I feel like is not something you necessarily see very often in YA. A lot of kind of conflict comes from the mistrust between parents and their kids, and she and her parents are just fully on board, and I loved that. I really enjoyed the blooming of the relationship in this book. There is a little bit of a slow burn romance, and I cannot wait to read the next one because we do have a little bit of a cliffhanger. This is fabulous. I can't compare it to Cinderella is Dead, which is her debut, because I've not read that yet, but it is on the shelf just behind the camera. But I would highly, highly recommend this. I think it's just a really, truly wonderful book. Transitioning from fantasy into historical fiction, this book has a little bit of both, and it was a very slow read, but it was beautiful. It was worth slowing down and savoring every word. This is a book from one of my favorite authors. It's different from the other books of hers that I've read, which is kind of her thing, and I loved it. This is The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This book kind of reads like historical fiction for history that never happened. So it's basically a fictional time and place, but it reads just like kind of Victorian or maybe 18th century society in France, but there's a little bit of telekinesis thrown in as well. In this book, we follow a character named Nina who is sort of making her debut into society, and she has been taken under the wing of her, I believe, sister-in-law, who is very different from her. She was...
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it there because I'm not a historical fiction fan, but that does sound kind of interesting, especially with telekinesis and things like that. However, that's something I pick up. And have you guys noticed? And I haven't read any of these books, and these are from 2021, and we're already in 2022. You don't even want to know how my TBR starts. It starts from 2018 on. And like some of the books that used to be at the library are no longer at the library. it's sad. It's very sad. So, by the way, you're probably going to be seeing this outfit quite a bit because I'm going to stockpile videos on one of my good days. I'm not feeling like total crap. I'm not coughing as much today, but I haven't been out in the elements yet either, so wish me luck with today's adventure. We have a ways to go in this video, by the way. So yeah. I'm also watching the Purge series. I'm on season 1, episode 10, I think. Like, I've never watched the Purge series before. Oh.
And this book kind of very lightly ties those two together. So this takes place in the 1980s and in the 1950s. We get two sort of storylines flashing back and forth, and it essentially follows a family through their kind of...
Okay, that's a historical fiction also. That's pretty interesting. And it goes from 1950s and 1980s, dual perspectives, dual timelines, and things like that, which is really cool. And it ties together Daisy Jones and the Six, and it ties together the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's one of the husbands' family situation, so that's pretty cool. Taylor Jenkins Reid, she makes really good books. They're very captivating. Hey, that's a new word. Is that a unique? Yeah, captivating. So that's pretty cool. I have not read that yet. It is on my TBR though, I think. No, it's not. I don't think I wrote that one down, but still, it's on there somewhere. Maybe up in my brain, not on paper or in Goodreads.
Our knowledge of them over these series of flashbacks and flash forwards was really artfully done, and I feel like this is a much more complex book in terms of kind of the art of writing than her other two books were, and I feel like this is just like, she has leveled up in terms of her writing and her authorship. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was so well done. Some of the characters in this are totally disreputable, but some of them, particularly Nina, who's my favorite, were just really, really beautifully written, and I feel like this is one of those books where you read these characters and you read the decisions that they're making and sort of the reasons that maybe they act the way that they do. Everything makes so much sense, and I felt that this was just a phenomenally written book. I absolutely loved it. We're going to turn to horror for a second. I have two horror books on this list, and they are both absolutely amazing. So the first one is Near the Bone by Christina Henry. This is a very, very tense book.
It's on my list.
Following a woman who has to decide which is worse, the monster inside of her home or outside. So we follow a character named Maddie, and she lives alone in the mountains in a very small cabin with her husband, William. And it becomes very, very clear that something is wrong with their marriage. He is a very, very abusive man, and she is a very, very meek woman. However, she sort of begins to realize that there's something out there in the woods, something horrible, something horrific, and she has to figure out how she is going to survive. This book is really, really dark. I would recommend for all of these to check the content warnings, but this is one where I would really specifically kind of encourage you to do so because it covers a lot of really, really dark stuff. But I think Christina Henry does an amazing job with these darker topics and showing the inner strength of a woman who has just been abused and beaten down. I loved watching her sort of inner thoughts and seeing how she's kind of coming into her own and how her survival instincts kick in both outside of the home and inside.
Okay, so I really did not know that Christina Henry did a horror book. I think that one's on my list. If it's not, it's up here. I will probably write that down though, because that sounds really good. Cabin Living, a Monster Inside or a Monster Outside, and Christina Henry, who usually does like romance or something. That's, yeah. Yep, I need it.
Fan, I would highly recommend this, and it's a perfect book for winter because it does take place in a snowy setting.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. We are 13 minutes into that video, which means we're like way further into this one because I did a lot of jibber jabbering at the beginning, and I just wanted to say take this time to subscribe, and if any of these books entice you or you want to possibly buddy read, I would totally be down. And let's see what else is coming.
Don't typically get like really strong emotional reactions from books. Like obviously I connect with them and everything like that, but I don't usually cry at the end of books. I don't usually like, I'm not like jumping for joy or whatever. I'm not hugely upset by cliffhangers, and I don't usually get frightened by books. This book scared the shit out of me. So if you're looking for something that's very, very scary, very, very psychological, I could not recommend this more highly. This is A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay.
Yes!
So this is a horror book that follows one of my absolute favorite tropes, which is demonic possession. And even better, it is it demonic possession or is it mental illness book? Which for someone who does have, some strong mental illnesses, I don't know what that says about me and the fact that I really enjoy these kinds of books, but... So this book follows two timelines. We basically have, in the past, this family, very sort of middle-class New England family, who are living their lives in the suburbs, but their 14-year-old daughter, Marjorie, begins acting very, very strange. And as her behavior gets worse and worse and stranger, it becomes obvious to them that it is possible that she is possessed by a demonic entity, and this kind of spirals out of control, and the family becomes the subject of a reality TV show sort of documenting her possession and exorcism. And then we have 15 years later, her little sister Mary, who was 8, I believe, at the time, is basically telling her story, the real story, to an author who's going to write a book about her sister's possession. And this is so good for a number of reasons. It's incredibly masterfully written, especially in the way that Mary's obviously a child. She's an incredibly unreliable narrator. We have sort of everything that was happening in the past.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there so you guys can't hear any more because I don't want to hear any more about it. I want to pick that book up. I actually did what was it? I read a sample of that book, and oh my gosh, it is so good. Just the first 4 chapters that I got of the sample, I want to pick it up so bad, and I think I'm going to pick it up during Summerween, which is in June? Yeah, I think it's in June as Summerween, and I really think that would be a good one to pick up either in Summerween or in Halloween time. So... But I really want that one so bad. I don't like that cover though. The other cover is so much better. It's like more colorful. I don't know what cover that one is. I don't know what edition that one is. But if you can see that, like...
To fantasy, I have
read... Yeah. It's blurred by Stephen King too, so... Which isn't as good as H.P. Lovecraft because, yeah. Okay, I don't know what she's holding up right now. No clue what that is. But I definitely want to pick up The New Witch. Hear the Bone or whatever, that Christina Henry one, and Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. And Paul Tremblay has some really good books out there. Just saying. Sorry. The coffee is just now setting in. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning here on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. I'm off work, unfortunately, until Saturday, and I think I'm going to do a reading sprint here later. Possibly, maybe. It just depends. I'm debating on it, for sure. My phone's going off. I don't know if read video doorbell. I don't know why I'm getting that stuff. It's still really cold here. It's still 29 degrees, but it feels like 21. It's 29 degrees, but it feels like 21 degrees. Love that for us. It's supposed to like start getting warmer around like noon, 1-ish, which is when I'm gonna probably go to the academy and get my hair. I'm gonna get it washed and cut because it needs it. But not really cut, just like trimmed up and stuff. I have split ends and dead ends and stuff like that that just need to be taken off. Like, as you see, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a hair right here. It just like comes right off. That's what I've been doing most of those videos, playing with my hair because like it's just like stranding off and it's not cute. It's like, I don't know. And I didn't like flat iron it or oh, I did that one day, but that was that one day like months ago. So I don't know. You don't care about my hair, sorry. Alright, what's next?
A bit of a coincidence this year in which There were 3 fantasy books from different authors, all publishing. They were all start to new series.
Okay, I'm not a big fan of fantasy. Like, I'm trying to get into it. So we'll see what she has, and we'll see if I've actually, like, read any of them.
With The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri,
Nope.
who is, as you probably know, one of my absolute favorite authors ever. This is the start of her new trilogy, and it is so good. Very simply put, this book follows 2 women from very different walks of life who are working together toward a common goal. So we have Milani, who is the sister of the emperor, who is kind of this colonizing, conquering force, and she defies him. She is basically sent into exile and imprisoned. And one of the maidservants who is waiting on her is Priya. And Priya is a young woman who is from this particular city where all of this takes place. And she is the survivor of a horrible, horrible massacre when Milani's brother's forces came in and took over the city. So she's been laying low for, a very long time. She's not letting any of her magic abilities show. But one day Milani witnesses Priya's true nature, and the 2 of them sort of develop this very tenuous relationship. So not only are these 2 women amazing, they're very, very different women, but they're phenomenal. I loved their relationship. I loved the way that it really grew from a very, very tense, untrusting place, and watching them kind of grow and develop and manipulate and dance around each other. That was really, really fantastic. But I also loved the world building in this particular book. A lot of this is, I believe, based on Indian history, and you can really feel those real-world influences come through in the way that the sort of the world building and the politics are so vividly written. Everything about this I loved. The next book comes out this year, and I'm so excited. She's a phenomenal writer. If you haven't read her other books, you definitely should. You should absolutely pick this one up and weep with me. Next up, we have She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is a historical fantasy book. Obviously, from this list so far,
That's why I haven't read it or cared to read it, because it's a historical fantasy. Historicals I don't care for, and fantasies I'm trying to get into. I read a couple fantasies, not really my cup of tea. So I'm trying to broaden my horizons, so I really, really am. So we'll see. So far there's only been 2 books on here, and they were the 2 horror books that I want to definitely read, that are on my TBR, my backlist, and everything else. So. We shall see. God, my hair. I should really go store. It's supposed to be nicer today. I wonder if I should put my outside chair back out. But like, I gotta clean up out there and stuff. Little door area. I did find out a lot of my neighbors are moving out. My downstairs neighbor's moving out. The old couple that lives downstairs in apartment 10, they're moving out. The old lady on the corner downstairs by the steps is moving out. We had 2 people move out over by the dumpster. Just had 2 people move in, one right directly next door to me, and one in the corner, in the abyss corner where there's no exit. So, complex is getting empty, and I don't mind it, because like, it just makes it easier to live here. Not very many people live here, so fun stuff.
Best Books of 2020 list is The Unbroken by C.L. Clark. I'm sure you can sense a theme here, but this is another one of those that's very, very strongly drawn from history and feels like historical fantasy place that doesn't actually exist, but really it's fantasy France and fantasy Morocco. And this book really, really digs into the harms of colonialism. When I read this book, I think I flagged a review on the Fantasy Inn, which is fabulous, from a woman who lives in France and is originally from Morocco, and her thoughts on this. It's really fabulous. I'll link that again because it's just so incredibly good. But this book is uncomfortable, and it's fabulous. And it really, really does gray area characters very well. So in this book, we follow two very different characters from two very different walks of life. So we have Terrain, who is a soldier for the Baladarian Empire. Basically, she was snatched from her homeland as a child and brought up to be a soldier and to fight for this empire that she was not born into. However, all she wants is to prove herself. She wants to move up the ranks, and she wants to be
I gotta go.
sort of
That's
like
everything.
a loyal soldier and an example for those
Bye,
around
guys.
her. But of course,